This does work, believe it or not.
The great expansion of America took ranchers west. 2012's historic drought is pushing them back east. Just behind me here are Neil Forgey's cows, and just a few months ago they were in Wyoming, foraging for whatever they could get. Wyoming is of course a state in the grip of the worst drought in the US in nearly half a century. A lifelong Wyoming rancher and these 120 cows are being forced to greener pastures across state lines. These guys, I think, looking pretty happy. Here outside Winner, South Dakota, some 330 miles from home.
Do you have much ground beside that, Jeremy?
Neil is hoping this tough and expensive decision will be a down payment.
They look like they're doing really well.
Ensuring his precious cargo worth $400,000 will survive until September. These here are among 90,000 head of cattle that have been imported to South Dakota alone this summer. That's an increase of nearly 30% on the same period last year. This pilgrimage east from drought-ravaged Wyoming in particular has jumped 75%. Back home, Neil says his herd didn't stand a chance.
I got a meadow east of the house and Robert's son come over there on the four-wheeler. He said, "I've never been to the moon, but I'll bet it looks like this."
All 23 counties in Neil's home state of Wyoming are now eligible for federal drought assistance.
Any place you had cattle last year out there, there's absolutely nothing. You couldn't run 5 cows in there. I mean, we just had to get them out of there. We didn't have any more options.
Nearly 2/3 of the continental US is now suffering from the worst drought most can remember. The vast majority of the nation's cattle lives in this increasing footprint. July was the hottest month on record in the US, surpassing Dust Bowl temperatures of the 1930s. If drought continues, Neil will have to do more than just move his herd.
If this country isn't available next year and we're dry, I mean, there's only going to be one option, that's going to be selling. But the whole country's in a drought, who's going to buy it?
And here they come. Just inside this room just now, cows are being bid on for the meat market across America. This here is the sad reality that a lot of ranchers have had to face, who haven't been as lucky as Neil. Bassett, Nebraska, an hour south of Winner, South Dakota, and it's an entirely different story. Like Wyoming, every county in Nebraska is facing severe or extreme drought conditions. In fact, this cattle auction yard has been running twice as often this summer because of the drought.
Am I explaining to ranch people or city people?
Joe Steck's family has ranched an hour's south of here for over 100 years.
It hurts to sell those old cows. They've been my friends for a lot of years.
It's just the beginning for Joe of a long summer of selling.
And you look for those faces that you knew and they're not there. They are people, they're kids, you know, they're family. You learn their personalities, you learn who's going to be nice to you and who's going to run you over. You deal with them on a very personal basis, every single cow. Nobody has hay. Neither does North Dakota or South Dakota or Kansas or Oklahoma or west to Wyoming and Montana. We can't find hay.
And if it doesn't rain this year,
we'll go out. It'll take us. It'll take all of us if it does that.
All of this means, of course, business is up a third for cattle auctioneer Bim Nelson. But it's not the kind of business that he wants to have.
Oh, it's the most emotional time that I can ever remember. I wouldn't want to do it again anytime soon, but you have to do what you have to do to continue to exist.
So Neil, you've been out here now, you've seen the cows. How would you rate this experience moving across state borders?
Well, if you want to hold on to your cow herd, you know, it was definitely the thing to do. It's all I've ever done. I don't know whether I can do anything else.